Hi, Shelley. It's been far too long. Have you been doing all right for yourself?
Huh? I'm sorry, but who am I speaking to right now? It appears that I never saved your phone number if I do happen to know you, so I apologize. Are you someone that I'm related to through work?
Not at all. It's me. It's your mom.
What? Mom, did you end up changing your number?
What are you talking about, Shelley? I don't think I even had a phone back in the day, so I never even had a phone number. It really has been a long time since the last time we saw one another, right? 20 years ago or something close to that.
Huh?
By this point, you should be turning 30 here soon, or are already 30, right?
No, actually, I'm only 25 years old. Wait, are you the one from over 20 years ago that left me and Dad?
Left you? That's not something you should be saying about someone doing to anyone, okay? I never meant to leave you guys back then anyway. I had a lot of problems causing me trouble back in those days, and that's why I had to leave the house for a while.
Are you sure? Are you really Brenda?
What is up with you, Shelley? Why would you call your own mother by her first name like that? You can call me Mom, just like you called me all those years ago.
No, wait a second. What? Why would I ever call you my mom now? From what I remember and from what I've been told, you left Dad and I 20 years ago because you had a massive amount of debt, and you left Dad with it all to pay it off. You think I'd call someone that did that to my dad Mom? Why the heck are you even talking to me now anyway? You haven't even contacted me whatsoever for the past 2 decades, so why now of all times have you decided to come out of hiding? And before you answer that, tell me how the heck you even found my phone number in the first place?
Well, I came back to town and asked one of your old-time friends about you and how to contact you. And they even told me that you're married right now as well. Oh, congratulations! I'm so proud of you, Shelley. And I feel so proud to have a daughter like you.
Ah, so that's what this is all about then. So that's the reason why after 20-odd years you're coming back out and trying to get in touch with me again. I'm sure you heard all about the man I married, right?
Well, to be honest, anyone would want to get back in touch with their daughter, having heard that she got married to a CEO. Really, I need to make sure that I hold on to you more closely now. Thank God I have someone like you around for me still.
Why are you acting like I'd even want anything to do with you now? How does me getting married to my husband have anything to do with you coming back to me? I'm so thrilled to see that you're happy to be in touch with me, but that feeling is not mutual. So please leave me alone forever now.
What are you talking about, Shelley? How's about you and I start living together?
Excuse me?
I'm sure you really are thrilled to finally be hearing from your mom after 20 years, right? And for the past 20 years, I've really been begging to see you again. But I never had the chance to go out and see what kind of beautiful woman you were turning into until recently. I'm sure the reason you landed a successful man like that is because you were raised by a hottie like me and have turned out as my twin. I'm sure if you looked like your dad, you'd be a total train wreck right about now.
Stop that! Don't you dare say anything more about my dad in that way. It's because of you and your selfish behavior that Dad was forced to have to pay off so much of your debt. And I'm sure you never even thought about that back then.
And let me tell you this, Shelley, he wasn't the only one that had to go through a lot of hardships like that. I myself had a lot of problems that caused me all sorts of headaches, so stop acting like he was the only one. But listen, back then I was young and I had no other choice than to leave the house for a while. And now that I'm getting close to being in my 50s, it's time for me to settle back down and be with my family again. And that's why you should be fine with me coming to live with you, right?
No freaking thank you.
Why not? I'm asking you in the most politest way I know how.
This isn't about the way you're asking me or anything like that. I just don't want you back in my life. I don't even think of you as my family, so there's no way you're coming to live in my house. And if you continue to beg me to let you come, saying that you want to see me so badly, I'm going to block you.
Is it really necessary for you to be so cold to your own mother? And what is this about you not thinking of me as your mother anymore?
That means that you're not my mom. And you never ever will be. I'm not even sure why you decided it was a good idea to contact me like this without at least thinking about how I'd respond to you first. But you're seriously getting on my nerves.
Are you kidding me, Shelley? I finally came around to gathering the confidence to contact you after so many long and hard years, and this is how you're going to act? Well, if this is really how you're going to treat me, then maybe I was better off never contacting you.
You're exactly right. You should have never bothered. And what's this about needing confidence anyway? Were you afraid I'd be upset with you? Because you were right to be afraid of that outcome.
No, it's just that the only reason I haven't been speaking to you at all for so long is because I never had the confidence to reach back out to you. But you have to trust me when I say that this whole time I've been thinking about you. And this time I finally thought, after sending you the first message, that this would be my chance to meet you again. Why are you giving me the cold shoulder, Shelley? You're supposed to be my daughter.
Do you think by telling me something like that about yourself, you're going to get me to feel moved by it?
What is wrong with you? You are seriously being way too rude to your own mother.
Are you sure that I'm the one being rude to you? I wasn't the one that left her 5-year-old daughter and husband while in major debt and never coming back even after a decade had passed. Now, you can stop trying to talk with me. I'm totally okay with you just leaving me alone now.
I want the two of us to become family again and rekindle what we had so long ago.
Rekindle what we had? You do realize we aren't a couple or anything, right?
When I tried getting in touch with your father, he never bothered to even respond to me. I was being so kind and everything to him when saying that I'd love to be back in the same home with him. But he never sent me a reply or even read my message to him.
I'm sure in his case he didn't want to read what you'd sent to him and has already blocked your number by now. My dad is a very cutthroat person after all.
I'm getting tired of going on about this, Shelley. Now let me come and live with you again. And please take great care of me as well. It was me that brought you into this world in the first place, right? So you'd better be willing to pay back the favor.
Thank you so much for giving birth to me. There you go. I just said thank you for your hard work. Can we seriously be done here now?
What the heck is that? Let me come and live with you right now.
Can you please stop trying to force your way back into my life just so that you can have my money? You just asked me to take great care of you. In other words, you only want to be around me for my money, right?
Well, when you put it that way, I suppose so. Well, you already know what I want from you, so I'll be there soon to start living with you again, please and thank you. And if you don't tell me your address soon, I'll just look it up or something. It's not that hard of a piece of information to find these days.
Huh? You really think it's a great idea to take things that far?
And if I have to pay someone to find you for me, I'll make sure you pay me for that fee when I arrive.
I've had enough of this, Brenda. Stop trying to act like things will turn out your way after trying all of that with me. What right do you even think you still have to be saying things like that to me? Seriously? You are nothing to me now besides a complete stranger. And even strangers know not to say things like that.
I am your mother, and that's why I'm talking to you this way. As far as I can tell, the man you've married seems to have the kind of money to help his mother-in-law get back on her feet and live a happy and fun life. So you can see now there's no other option besides letting me come live with you, right? You happened to land yourself a CEO for a husband? That's pretty dang amazing considering how ugly you are. But I'm going to rekindle the love we had back in the day, so let me come and live with you in that house of yours right now.
Well, if you really want to talk about who my mother is, then you can talk with her about it, since she's sitting right next to me.
Huh?
Are you going to shut the hell up now after realizing that you aren't my mom anymore? Right now, I'm living with my mom, and she is most definitely not someone like you. So what the actual frick are you going on about by saying you're my mom and everything?
Your mom? That woman is anything but your mom, Shelley. I'm not sure whether your dad got remarried or something else to force a woman like that into your life, but the only mother you have right now is me. So you treat me like your mother again and let me come live there with you.
No way.
Huh?
After you ran away and left us with your debt, Dad was able to find another woman to marry who took us both in as her own. And to me, she is my real mother, not you. I am thankful that you went through the hardship of giving birth to me, but besides that, you mean nothing more to me than any other stranger. Actually, I take that back. You mean less to me than most strangers.
And what do you mean she's with you right now? Are you actually letting her live with you?
I already told you that we're living in the same house together, but I guess you didn't bother reading that. She just moved in with us last week, and from here on out, she'll be staying with us forever. However, it doesn't really feel that way since my husband was able to build her own sub-house on the property. So really, she's living with us, but in a separate building. It's just nice having her live close to us, though, so that we know she's safe and can reach out to us whenever she needs anything. The whole family is all living together now, and all happy about it.
Is it really necessary for you to be so cold to your own mother? What the hell do you think you're saying to me?
What's wrong? Why are you getting so upset with me now after hearing something like that? Aren't you supposed to be all happy to see that I'm doing well? Or perhaps you're upset because you can't be here with all of us.
Stop saying things like that. I have every right to be upset about something like this. And I'm sure anyone else in my shoes would be as well. I'm supposed to be your mother, but you keep talking about that other woman as though she's your mom.
Really? I've told you multiple times now that you are not my mother and never will be, right? You haven't even seen me for the past 20 years now. So who the hell are you even? That's what I feel like asking you because I seriously have no clue about who you are or why you think it's okay to be talking to me like this. I bet if we met, I still wouldn't even be able to identify who you are.
Why do you keep talking more and more like that to me? Did your dad never teach you the correct way to talk to your mother? I never meant to do anything wrong to you, and I was the one who gave birth to you, so seeing you act like such a jerk to me hurts. What the hell am I supposed to do when my daughter doesn't know how to treat me right?
You only gave birth to me. 5 years after that, you then left me and were never there for me my whole life growing up. And because of you running away from me and Dad, you left Dad in a terrible position where he had to sacrifice so much to keep us afloat. He was lucky to have found someone like my mom to marry him. And since then, he's been a whole lot happier with life.
Lucky to have found someone like her? He should be lucky to have had me around to give him you as his daughter. And now I need you to be my daughter. What am I supposed to do if my own daughter doesn't want to help take care of me?
Well, let me tell you that it's not any of my business what you do.
What?
And as far as Dad being lucky to have had you, shut the hell up! All you did for him was bring a daughter into this world, but after that you left him to care for me all the time, even though he had work to focus on as well. And you did all that just so that you could go out every night and have fun on the town. And when you started to rack up some serious debt, you left it for Dad to take care of as you ran off never to be heard from again. You never once treated me like your daughter back then, you dog. The only person you ever cared about back then was yourself, and even now you're showing me that you haven't changed one bit.
The past has nothing to do with now.
It sure the hell does, though, Brenda. My actual mom has been with me for the past 18 years and has raised me as her own without ever questioning who I was to her. And even though we don't share the same blood, I'd have to say mine looks a lot more similar to hers, instead of whatever toxic crap runs through your veins.
Do you really think she can be your mom? I bet deep down she doesn't really care for you and has only been raising you just to stay with your father. So stop trying to act as though that love is mutual, because it sure isn't.
Say whatever you'd like, Brenda, but know that the love I have for her will never go to you. Huh. And by the way, I'm not even legally your daughter anymore. I only have one mother, both legally and personally. So can we seriously be done with all of this? You can complain all you want about reality, but it's not going to change a dang thing.
The only mother you're ever going to have is me, and that's it. Now you come help me. Pay for me to have a good life in my later years.
The fact that all you care about is having me around to pay for your needs is disgusting. So disgusting that I will never, ever let you into my life.
Huh?
Even after 20 years have passed after you ran away to fix your problems, you're still struggling and that's why you came looking for me? And when you saw that I had gotten married to a man with lots of money, you thought you'd be able to come live with me? Stop freaking around, you old stupid dog. Sure, I am thankful that you gave birth to me and all that, but I don't care about you in any other way. So what though? Like, really? I'm sorry that you think giving birth to me gives you a free pass to rule over me, but it doesn't. And you didn't even stick around to raise me, so really, all you did was the bare minimum. I'm living a very happy life now with my family. So how about before you come back to me trying to join us, you first fix your own dang life, you idiot.
What kind of attitude is that? You have no right being that mean towards me.
I think my attitude towards you is warranted right now, considering you threw my dad and I away when I was only 5 years old. To be honest, I don't give a flying frick about you. But really, growing up, I did have something against you. You ruined my dad's whole life, leaving him with your debt, and that hurt me more than not having a mother for 2 years. But when my dad found his new wife, things changed for him, and he was slowly able to pay off all your debt with her help. Really, you leaving the two of us behind was the best thing for us, as we finally got to experience peace with my current mom around. So please, for the love of God, can you just leave us all alone now?
You know I can't do that. If I leave you all alone, what's going to happen to me? This is my only chance to pay off all my current debt and be completely free again.
I knew it. You really did only come looking for me because you need money. Well, too bad nobody over here cares about you anymore.
Right now, the amount of debt I'm in is way too much for only me to handle, though. No matter how hard I try and break free, I need someone like you to come and help me. So please help me, Shelley.
Are you not embarrassed to be acting like that?
Huh?
You're coming back crying to the child you threw away 20 years ago, asking for money. It's freaking embarrassing, even for me. Also, I just talked with my longtime friend about how you asked them for my number. You came back to town because you were so broke that you have been going to everyone you once knew in town asking for money. Even my longtime friend said that you went to her asking for money. But you know what? I don't care that you're doing that, just as long as you stop saying to everyone that you're my mom.
But you are my daughter, which makes me your mother.
You sure as hell aren't. Also, I just told Dad about what you've been wanting to tell him.
You told him? I'm sure he wants to get back with me as well now, right? If he is feeling that way about me, then tell him that I'm totally down with the two of us getting married again.
Hold up. What kind of fantasy is that you're thinking of? He told me to let you know that we are all much happier without you in our lives.
What? But I have the right to be happy with all of you as well, right?
You have nothing to do with us now, so what you've said makes no sense to me. Well, anyway, my dad doesn't have anything else to say to you about this, so consider him gone. And he said if you still want to talk with him about anything, to go through his lawyer.
Huh? Lawyer? Why should I go talk to his lawyer?
Well, he has been in touch with his lawyer and the police again about how you've been causing us problems, and they said that depending on what you do next, they may have to come and arrest you. So, I think this is it for you, right? It's best that you just give up and go away.
Wait a second. Why are things turning out this way? I haven't even done anything wrong, yet you want to get the law involved?
Recently, you've been sending him a lot of emails threatening him, right?
What? Threatening him? All I've been doing recently is try and get a hold of him after 20 years have passed.
Just know that if you do anything more to us after today, my dad is going to have to act and make sure you never are seen by us again. There is literally nothing else you can do now, so just stop already. You are the idiot that decided to throw away your family 2 decades ago, so you have to live with that choice now. I don't care about the life you have to live now, but it has nothing to do with us here. Now go find somewhere else to rot away, because it won't be around us, you dying dog. After that, the desperate and anxious Brenda looked frantically for Shelley's house, and when she found it, she started to make her way over there. However, when she arrived at the gated community, she was met by security, who took her into their office. And while stuck with security, the police were called and came in to fill out a report on her. She may have left my dad with a lot of debt back when she ran away from us, but it seems as though she had even more debt now after 20 years of being on the road. And it's entirely safe to say that her life is over with now. From now on, she'll no longer be able to bother Shelley and her family, as a restraining order has been placed on her. And as for all that debt she still has, the bank and law will be handling that part. And I have to say, when it comes to a crazy idiot like her, it's probably the best option having the law take her away. When it comes down to her, I really am thankful that she gave birth to me. But every second after my birth, I have to say that I've hated her and will never forget what she did to my dad and I.
If I'm correct, today's your birthday, right? How old are you going to be turning today?
I'm going to be 42 years old, and why the heck are you asking about my birthday now? And before we even get to that, weren't you supposed to be coming home early today? I've been waiting all day for you to be here so we can celebrate.
How lame of you to be waiting for someone that doesn't care to be home with you. There's nothing about your birthday that makes me want to be there celebrating it with you.
Is that really something you should be saying to the woman you've been married to for 15 years?
Well, be aware that those 15 years we've had together end today.
What does that mean, Tony?
I'm saying that you and I are getting divorced. I'm still in my freaking 30s, aren't I? However, you're turning 42 years old today. You're already halfway through your life, and you're going to be out of this world long before I am. Do you really think I want to stay married with someone that won't even be around for my later years in life? Who will I have around the house to help me when I'm retired and I'm no longer in the mood to do things myself?
What are you talking about? In just another 3 months or so, you're going to be turning 40 years old. So tell me, what the heck has gotten into you today with all of this age talk? Never before have you gone on about our ages until today, and saying that you want a divorce now because I'm a little older than you isn't going to change you still becoming a 40-year-old man soon.
I've already chosen to get divorced from you today. So, whether you like it or not, there's nothing you could do to stop me. Now, grab all your things from the house and get out of there. I already handed in the divorce papers, so it's final.
Huh? Are you really being serious about all this divorce talk right now?
Why wouldn't I be serious about all of this after all the time I've wasted talking to you about it?
Well, if you and I get a divorce, then what are we going to do about our daughter? Lainey has only just entered high school and everything, so breaking apart now would put her through a lot of unnecessary stress.
Well, Lanny's been telling me that she doesn't want to live in a house together with a hag like you anymore. Now that she realized how old you really are. She plans to stay with me and live here after you're gone.
What? She's being serious as well? Did you already talk with her and everything about the divorce you're wanting?
I have. and we decided that the both of us want you to disappear from our lives for good. At this point, not only do I not need you around anymore, but neither does Lanny.
Saying all of those awful things about me, talking with my daughter about that before my birthday is terrible. I can't even believe that you'd talk with Lainey first about divorcing me before even asking me about all of this first.
When it comes to Lanny and talking with her about serious things, it's only natural that I talk with her first. She is an amazing young woman, and I'm very much aware now that she does not want to be living together with an idiot like you. Now, you're beginning to get on my nerves by sticking around right now, so hurry up and get lost.
I seriously never actually thought that you'd be talking with our daughter about things like that. Well, it's already happened now. Thanks for telling me all of this.
Another thing, you're going to still need to pay child support after the divorce.
You want me paying child support?
I'll be the one having to keep her in my house and looking after her, so it's only fair that you pay for her.
Then what about any sort of settlements?
What are you talking about now? I'm not going to be paying you a single penny, even if you ask. That should be an amazing present for a 42-year-old woman, right? You'll lose your young and strong husband, and be forced to live by yourself as you grow older and older, with nobody around to love you.
I never could have imagined that I'd be called an old hag by you on my birthday. And I never even thought it was possible for both my husband and my daughter to talk about divorcing me behind my back. But if you are both on the same page about wanting to leave me today, then there's no helping keeping you both around me. I guess I will be leaving this house.
You are no longer going to be part of this family, and don't you ever think you can come back to us in the future. All we are to you now is a couple of complete strangers.
If that's what the both of you want to think of me. But just make sure that you both never come around me again, as I'm going to be a stranger to you both from now on as well. And don't you ever forget what I just said to you. Why are you not answering your phone? I am trying to get a hold of you because we're in a bit of a pickle over here. If you're going to do nothing besides call me over and over with no prior context, then I'm not going to answer you. Can you tell me why the heck you're trying to talk with me after 4 years have gone by? Especially after what we all agreed on after I left. This is a very scary emergency and Dad needs your help. What? He got into a serious accident and will need to get surgery done on him right away. Did you seriously not stop to think that me calling you over and over like that might mean that there's an emergency over here? I don't really care what you think about all of this. It's an emergency, and you need to answer the phone right away. Oh, could this actually mean that an old hag like you has never answered a phone call in her life on her cell phone and has no idea how to? If you've only come here to say rude things to me again, I can go ahead and just block you for good. That's not what I'm wanting to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about having you pay the $30,000 medical bill that will come with Dad's surgery. What? Ah. So that's what's going on here then. This must be some kind of scam call asking me to pay money for one of my family members even though they don't actually need it right now. Huh? What are you going on about? That's not what this is. I am telling you the truth when I say that I need you to give us the money to pay the medical bills, but this isn't a scam at all. Really, all the medical care that Dad's receiving is going to cost us $30,000 and we need that money from you. And this isn't just for him, but for your daughter as well, so pay up. Excuse me? My daughter? Right now, Dad doesn't have anyone else he can count on to pay the bills. I really hate having to ask an old hag like you for help at this point in time, but you're the only person with the money to be able to hand it over to us immediately. So, can you just get to work sending that $30,000 I've asked for to me? Sending that money to you? Why do I have to be the one to give you both that kind of money? How many times are you going to make me tell you this? Have you already become senile? Open your gosh dang eyes, old hag! Dad's got into an accident and he's going to get surgery very soon here, and so that $30,000 is needed to pay for all of the medical expenses, so give it to us. He's your ex-husband, right? And not just that, but I'm your daughter, so give us that money for our sakes, okay? I don't have a daughter, though. Huh? How about you try opening your eyes up a little, young lady? I do not have any daughters, and right now the only person I see you as is a complete stranger. Now, I don't think you're going to gain any more from me today or ever again, so I'll be going now.
Hold on, you! What the hell are you talking about? You aren't going to be going anywhere right now. Do you really think you can end things between us that easily?
You and your father were the ones that told me in the divorce that you no longer wanted me coming around either one of you anymore, and that you'd be cutting ties with me, right? You had both made it clear as day to me that you no longer wanted to be family and that I needed to stay a stranger to the both of you. Looks to me, though, that you both asked for more than you could handle from me and are no longer able to uphold your guys' end of the promise. That being, staying away from me.
What the hell are you talking about?
We had all ended things off by saying we'd all be strangers to one another 4 years ago, right? So that means that for the past 4 years and continuing on after this, you are not my daughter. And if you think that you saying you're my daughter now just because you need money from me is going to change that fact, it will not. I'm sorry, but I have no idea what kind of games you're trying to play right now.
What are you saying right now? This is not the time to start joking around about what happened back then. Right now, we need to be talking about how that surgery is going to cost $30,000. And when it comes to me, I don't have that kind of money, and Dad doesn't have that kind of money in savings either. You were able to get a settlement paid out to you by Dad in the divorce back then, right? You give us that money back right now so that we can afford for Dad to get his surgery.
I was given a settlement? I don't ever remember getting any sort of money in the divorce, though.
Huh?
It's been quite the opposite, actually. So far, I've paid your child support for the past 3 years without getting a penny from your dad or anything else in return.
There's no freaking way, right? Child support? I don't even believe you for 1 second that you'd have the money nor the want to pay anything like that.
Well, you don't have to believe me or not regarding something like that. I just assumed that I was still responsible for you still, even after you left me. And so that's my reasoning behind paying the child support. Even after you told me you never wanted to see me again and just wanted to be complete strangers. Just be glad that I was willing to pay your father that kind of money for you. But remember that I only have to pay your father until you turn 18 years old.
Are you sure about that? Because I never heard anything from Dad about you giving him any sort of money to support me.
Remember that you've been sticking around a dad that tossed his wife out of his house on her birthday while saying horrible things about her. I'm sure he'd never tell you anything about how I've been the one paying for you to be as privileged as you are. But at this point, I couldn't care less about him telling you about all of that or you believing me about it. Anyway, I don't think you or your father are in the place to be asking me for any more money at the moment, no matter how much of an emergency it is.
What? So you're really not going to pay that $30,000 that we need right now? Even when I'm stressed the hell out right now because of all this?
Even if you tell me that you're that stressed out right now, you have nothing to do with me and the life I currently live. It's not even like you're related to me anymore either, since you were the one that asked me long ago to forget that you were ever my daughter.
I know I said some things like that, but right now the situation in the family has changed.
They've changed? How have they changed? I told you that I don't think of you as my daughter anymore, and as for your father, I definitely don't see him as family anymore and gave no interest in whatever's going on in his life.
You don't have to be that cold about how you really feel about us, okay?
Well, don't you feel like you were cold to me back in the day when speaking to me?
Huh? Whatever did I do?
Well, for starters, when I was worried about you right after the divorce, I tried texting and calling you, but you'd only ever reply by asking me to shut up and stay quiet. And since months went by of you never saying anything else to me, I gave up on you. It was after how cold you and your father were to me back then that I finally realized that you both really did not care about me being around you guys anymore.
And back then, I'm sure we were a bit cold to you about things. But that was 3 years ago, and I never imagined that Dad would get into such a bad accident and end up needing an emergency surgery that costs this much. If it wasn't for his situation now, I really would not be talking to you now because I really do not need you in my life besides for money.
Well, don't worry about explaining your actions to me, as I feel the same about you now. And that's why now, all we are to one another is complete strangers. Hence why I've said that I do not have any daughters. So tell me again what you want with me. If you don't have any other reason for talking to me right now besides wanting me to give you money for your crappy father, then I think we can stop talking to each other now.
Hold your horses! I do not like hearing you say things like that about the both of us. So are you seriously planning to not pay for Dad's medical bills? This surgery could be the one thing saving him from dying after the injuries he sustained.
Is that so? Well, that must be heartbreaking for you then. But let me be very clear that he has nothing to do with me and my life anymore. So I really do question what the hell you're going on about right now with everything you've said today. When you have a problem like that within your small family, then you guys have to figure something out on your own without getting complete strangers involved. Please and thank you.
Huh? You're talking about your gosh dang ex-husband! Why are you acting like you never knew him right now? And how come you can't understand how much your daughter needs you to help her right now?
You should be able to understand that when a couple has a divorce, they usually regard one another as strangers thereafter, right?
That is such a far-fetched argument to make right now.
A far-fetched argument? I'm just telling you what actually happens in a divorce, Lainey. And let me ask you this. Is you coming to me after years of never talking to me all just to tell me that your father was in an accident and needs money right now, not some form of you trying to scam me for my money? Did you really think you were going to get me to follow along with that story?
I told you that I'm telling the dang truth. Nothing about this is a scam.
Well, even if it's the truth, that has nothing to do with me. I am not in the mood to hand you guys any money, and I'm not even the one responsible for you two anymore. I've already gotten remarried now and have a family of my own that I'm very happy to be a part of. Do you think you could give me the relief of staying away from my new family and I now?
Huh? You got remarried?
I found myself a new man that loves me way more than your father ever did, and we are married now. And he brought along his kids with him, which I've grown to view as my own now. I have some very cute kids and a handsome and kind husband that makes up my warm and beautiful family now.
What the actual hell? Do you really think now's the right time to be telling your actual daughter about something like that?
The right time? You and your father are the ones that left me, so I don't care if now is a good time for you or not to be saying that. I think I have every right to say and do as I please now, since I have no ties to you guys. To be frank, I forgot about you and your father a few years ago besides having to pay child support. You guys wanted me to forget about the two of you, so of course I would forget that you guys ever existed.
I am your frickin' daughter, you old hag! Yet you have the balls to tell me that you forgot about me?
Well, you only ever called me an old hag, and so that made you look like garbage to me that I didn't need to remain in my life. I don't have the time for people like you to be my daughter after things like that.
You have to be kidding me, right? Are you really telling me the truth right now?
Of course I am. I have my own life now and a family of my own who all love me very much as their wife and mother. I have no interest in you and your father anymore, and you are both complete strangers to me, so you will not be getting any of that $30,000 from me. That man is nothing to me now. All he is a monster that cheated on me with another woman and wouldn't even pay me any sort of a settlement for that. And not just that, but also divorced me on my birthday while getting my daughter to believe that I was the problem and having me kicked out of the house for good and leaving me with nothing. And even after being kicked out of the family and the house, I was still asked to pay child support for you, and when I tried to have even a simple conversation with you, you'd call me an old hag and ask that I shut up.
He cheated on you? Dad cheated on you? But I never heard anything about that happening either.
And I told you why that would be. That man would never say anything to you that would make you rethink what he did to me and scare you away to my side. He made good use of you by getting full custody and then taking my money. I was really worried about you years ago when this all started, and that's why I would try and get a hold of you to tell you these things. But after time and time again of you telling me to shut up, I gave up on you for good. I was tired of trying to be a good mother to someone that only thought of me as an old hag and an idiot.
Mom, just wait a second. Listen to me now. If you leave me with Dad and don't help us in any way, then what's going to happen to us? I'm going to most likely end up being on my own without him.
It's disgusting to hear you call me Mom after all that time had passed, so can you just call me Anne from now on? And you'll end up on your own? You are close to being 20 years old now, so I'm sure you can make it on your own without Dad. You already know that what I've said to you is final and that you won't be getting any help from me, right? So trying to carry on this needless conversation is going to get you nowhere. All you are to me is a stranger, and I thought that's who I was to you.
But with something like this going on with Dad right now, can't you just help me out this once? You don't have anything going on in your life right now that you need that money for. What the hell happened to you being the nice woman that I knew you as long ago?
I can see you're beginning to get frustrated now, but you have really not begun to understand that I do not want anything to do with your father and you anymore. The whole reason this all ended up happening is because you and your dad told me to get lost and stay away forever.
What? Are you really going to listen to what we told you so many years ago like that?
Well, weren't you both the ones enforcing what you asked from me for years after the divorce took place? You and your nasty father were the ones that laid out the playing field for us, and all I could do was follow your guys' rules. If you still feel as though you can get me to come and help you after all that, then maybe you need to go and talk to your father first about everything. He'll tell you the same thing, and will most likely not even want my help. So, do you have anything else to say to me?
Anything else to say to you? You're being a freaking witch right now.
Well, if you have nothing else to say, then it's time for me to go.
Wait, Mom! You're taking things way too far by saying you don't want to see me as your daughter anymore. I am asking you to please come and help me. I need your money.
No. I will never talk with you ever again after this, no matter how much you think you can get away with asking me for money. You were an awful daughter, and need to understand that there's nothing you can do to change my mind about that. Now, goodbye forever. And if after today your life becomes a living hell, just know that you deserve every bit of it. Anne made it very clear to Lainey that day that she never wanted to talk to her again. In reality, Lainey was never there asking for money to help her father with his surgery in the first place, as her father was never in any accident and was not in need of any life-saving surgery. She had assumed that she could use her position as what she thought was Anne's daughter to beg for money during a fake time of need. Really, the only thing that Lainey needed that money for was to keep her from having to go out and work a real job to make income. But now that she wouldn't be getting anything, she will have to find a job just like everyone else. Luckily, Anne was never willing to fall for the lies that Lainey had tried getting her to fall for, and ended things between herself and her demented daughter once and for all. Now, Anne can really move forward from her sad past and look towards the future of being with her warm and caring family.
Hey Daphne, are you there? I just needed to talk to you really quick. It's actually about Dad. You see, so if you could get back to me as soon as you can, that would be really great. I guess I can talk about it a little bit here, but the thing is that I think he's starting to get dementia.
Wait, what? Kayla, what are you talking about? Are you serious about this?
Well, it's just that even though he's so rich, he's being a complete idiot about his money. Haven't you noticed that? He has no idea how he should be spending it or what he should even be doing with all that money. So I think it would be better if he just gave it all to me, don't you think? Actually, I'm already in the process of trying to get an early distribution of his will so that I can have all of his money before he dies. Anyways, I guess that basically all I wanted to tell you really.
Hold on just a second. What are you talking about? This is all so sudden. I mean, I know that you had been going to visit Dad at home more often and all that, but do you really think that our dad is starting to develop dementia? Is that something you really think is happening over there?
I really do. I mean, I would know since, like you said, I've been spending so much time here with him. But yeah, I think Dad has basically completely lost it. I don't know what else we're going to be able to do for him at this point. I didn't think it would happen this quickly, but now that I think about some more, I think that he's completely gone. He's just an empty shell of the man he used to be. I think that it's probably just a matter of time before he even forgets how to speak. I guess we should have seen this coming, but would have guessed it would be happening so soon.
Kayla, I'm sorry, but I think this is all very, very strange, and I'm not sure that you're completely right about this.
What do you mean you don't think I'm right about this? I have no idea what you could mean by that. I'm just trying to give you my honest assessment. Besides, I've already started the process to have Dad's will distributed before he dies, but I guess the estate people need some kind of confirmation from you as well. That's actually the real reason why I reached out to you, if I can be honest.
So then you're really going to try and go through with this weird living will thing? Are you sure that this is something that Dad would even want in the first place? Because I really wouldn't feel comfortable giving any kind of permission to this if Dad wasn't okay with it. Can we please just talk about this a little more before we make any rash decisions? This is really important and we shouldn't rush this.
Ugh! Are you kidding me? What more talking is there to do? You know, this is why you and I never get along. I mean, do you really think that you're that much better than me just because you're the older sister? You need to understand that I'm the one taking care of our dad, and I'm only telling you what I see when I do take care of him. And what I see is a senile old man who might as well have his brains melting out of his ears.
Can you please not talk about our dad that way, Kayla? That's seriously disgusting. And I'm sorry, but I just really can't believe that our dad is as bad as you say. It just isn't adding up for me. I know that you've been going over to his house more and more, and I really do appreciate you doing that, Kayla. But I still think that trying to parcel out his will before our dad has even died just isn't right. I don't think it's something that we should be doing.
Well, thankfully, it isn't a decision that you'll have to worry about making since I've already made it for all of us. Our dad barely even knows what shapes are anymore. I'll show you something from my purse and he just stares at it like he's a baby with no knowledge of how the world works. And the fact of the matter is that you live so far away and just don't have the right to tell me what I'm seeing happen before my very eyes. That is why I had to take matters into my own hands and do what Dad no longer has the power to do for himself.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying that I don't think that Dad can be as bad as you're making him out to be. I mean, we actually just talked on the phone not all that long ago, so it's not like I haven't been in contact with him at all.
Well, of course he can talk on a phone, but you just don't understand what was happening there. Dad's muscle memory just kicked in, and that's why he was able to talk to you on the phone like that. You may have heard his voice talking from the other end, but it wasn't really him at all.
I'm sorry, but that is very, very hard to believe after the way you've been describing what he's like.
Well, I'm sorry that you find it hard to believe, but let me just remind you that you're all the way over there and I'm here with Dad in person. Got it? I'm the one who has been watching over him, and that means that it's my duty to make this kind of decision for him. So I'm going to send you the documents for the will, and then you're going to sign them. You don't mind if I just ensure that I get everything that's in there, do you?
What on earth are you talking about now? Did you just ask me if I mind if you claim everything in Dad's will?
Okay, so you did understand me. Then I guess that means you don't mind if I do that, right? Just consider it me taking my share for taking care of him.
But you haven't even really been taking care of him at all. I mean, it's not like you're there living with him and watching over him full time. You've just been visiting him more often this past month. And before then, you hadn't visited Dad in years and years. So I think that if you really want to go through with this will dispersal thing, we should talk to a lawyer first.
Well, I wouldn't do that if I were you. I mean, this is how Dad wanted us to do it. He said that he wanted his will to be given out before he died, and so you really shouldn't go against him.
Look, Kayla, you can tell me that he said that, but I still just can't buy that at all. I'm going to call Dad again and talk to him about this. Just please don't do anything until we've done our due diligence about this.
But why would you even bother calling him? I already told you that you won't do any good. He's only gotten worse since the last time you called him, you know? I don't care what you say. I know what our dad wants, and I'm going to be moving forward with it. You don't have the right to tell me what I can and can't do when you live so far away and haven't been with Dad like I have.
Kayla, give me a break. You know what this looks like, don't you? It looks like you only started visiting Dad recently so that you could try and steal his money from him. And if this is really what you're doing to our own dad, then, well, I'm not going to stand for it.
Well, we just finished moving. It's all finally done. Consider it a final present from our poor senile dad.
What do are you talking about this time? I don't remember getting anything.
Are you sure? You should check outside your door because from now on, you're going to be taking care of Dad, not me. Anyways, good luck with that, sis.
Wait, what? No, seriously, what on earth are you talking about right now, Kayla?
I mean that I dropped off our senile old dad on your doorstep and now you're going to have to take care of him until he dies. Meanwhile, I used up all of Dad's savings to buy myself a new big house. And don't worry, I promise to stay out of your hair from now on. In fact, you probably won't ever see me again since I've made sure that I'm going to get everything in Dad's will.
I see. So that was what this was about after all then, wasn't it? You were always only ever after the money, weren't you? And now you're telling me that you found a way to get everything in Dad's will, too? I tried to warn you that you shouldn't go through with that, but you just didn't listen to me at all, did you?
I told you that I was only doing what Dad wanted me to, so I don't get where you get off telling me that I was wrong. Of course, then again, maybe I was wrong. He was so brain dead and mumbly by the time I dropped him off that he really could have been saying anything to me. Anyways, either way, he isn't my problem now. He's yours.
So you're really just going to take all of our Dad's money and then just run away? You really are horrible, do you know that? It's clear that you were never ever intending to take care of Dad. You were always only ever after his money, and now that you have it, you just dump our dad on my doorstep and run off?
And just what are you going to do about it, huh? Don't you know that I've already won? I've gotten everything that I needed from him. So don't waste your energy trying to scold me, Daphne.
You both are horrible, you know that? I can't believe that your husband is also just sitting back and letting you get away with this. You're both just horrible.
Well, I'm sorry, but can you really blame me for not having any more use for an old fart like Dad anymore? That's why I keep telling you that he's all your problem now. If you're really so upset over how I treated him, then you can deal with him now.
Well, you should know that Dad is sitting right here next to me and is laughing so hard at you.
What are you talking about? What is he laughing at? How can he even form a funny thought at the laugh at?
Well, I got home a little bit ago to let our dad inside, and you really have no idea what you're talking about at all. He isn't even close to senile. He's as sharp as he's ever been.
What do you mean?
I mean that he's here and he's talking just fine. He's very lucid and active, and he's been telling me all about what you've been doing to him. Then I showed him the messages that you've been sending me, and he just burst out in laughter.
Hold on a second. You showed our private conversations to our dad? What is the matter with you? Why would you do that?
And just why shouldn't I have done that when you were going to leave him here and make me take care of him?
But I mean, no, you don't get it. He's senile, but sometimes he has moments where he comes to. That's all. So just don't say anything to him because he still doesn't understand what's actually going on around him. Even if he says something about changing his mind, about giving me everything in his will, just know that he's not in his right mind at all, okay?
The only person who is losing their mind here is you, Kayla. Dad says that he was never ever going to give you everything in his will.
Wait, what? What do you mean by that? Of course I was going to get everything.
This whole story you've been trying to sell me about Dad being senile was just one huge lie. He's as healthy as he's ever been. But now that I know that you've been lying, it just confirms everything that I had been worried about to begin with. You and your husband were in on this together just to try and rob our father of his money.
You don't know what you're talking about. This is just one big mistake, I swear.
Why are you even trying to cover for yourself right now? I already know that you were lying to me. It's all over. I know now that you were saying Dad was senile just so that you could try and fool me into going along with what you wanted. But it's over. I know what you were trying to do. I see right through you, and there's no point in carrying on this charade any longer.
But I mean, he really was pretending to be senile? I swear it, unless Dad was just doing that to try and fool my husband. And I?
Well, you should see the look on Dad's face right now. He told me you just hit the nail on the head. He knew that you were trying to steal his money, so he told me that he was pretending to be a bit slower to see just how far you would go with this.
So you mean this is all just a big plot by Dad? And my husband and I just fell for it like that? I didn't know that Dad had that all in him. I can't believe that he would lie to us. I really did think that he was totally senile. But then, what about the documents for the will distribution?
Those were all fake. Dad told his lawyer about his plan to catch you and your husband in the act and asked her to draw up some fake documents. But, as you can see, Dad was never senile at all. He's as sharp as he's ever been to pull off something like this. The only reason I'm telling you all of this is to save the embarrassment and trouble of trying to go and get any of that paperwork processed.
So then, these documents are fake? Even though we got them from Dad's lawyer? But this doesn't make sense. I thought that I was going to get it all. I thought that all of Dad's money was going to be mine. Do you know how much money I've sunken into this scam?
Oh, please, you said that you were paying for all of this using Dad's savings anyways, isn't that right? Although you should know that you have until the end of the day to move out of your house now.
What are you talking about? My husband and I just moved here. We're not going to move out. This is our new home.
Well, Dad called one of his colleagues and made sure to stop you and your husband from living there at all.
What do you mean? What did he do? What could have he possibly done that is going to keep my husband and I from living in our new home?
Well, he called the real estate office and had the name on the deed changed to his. After all, it was his money that bought the house.
Wait, he put his name on the deed of our house? Can he do that? Is that even legal? I don't understand. I thought that I had everything planned out perfectly. How did it all come to this?
I just explained to you what happened. The only thing that you need to know now is that you and your husband have until the end of the day to pack your bags and leave. And now that Dad knows what your plan has been this whole time, you should also know that he's decided to leave everything in his will to me.
You're kidding me? You mean that I plotted so hard to try and make sure that everything in his will would go to me, but now it's all going to you instead? Does that mean that you're going to be getting all of his money before he dies like I was supposed to?
Of course not. Dad and I talked about that, and I told him that I was in no rush at all. Besides, all those documents were fake anyways, remember? So there would be no point in me trying to use them. But you should know that because of this, Dad is going to cut you off and never offer any kind of support to you ever again.
Wait, Dad is going to cut me off? How can he do that?
He can do that because of the way you and your husband were trying to treat him. Did you really think that he was just going to let this go? And just know that I'm going to follow suit and never ever talk to you again as well. Of course, it's not like we were even that close to begin with, if I'm being honest. But I just can't even stand to have you in my life after what you've done. I mean, how could you even try to do this to your own father and to me, your sister? You are nothing but a horrible, selfish woman, daughter, and sister, and you deserve whatever comes to you.
No, please. I really had no idea that Dad was just acting. I thought he was really going senile. I swear that I never would have done any of this if I knew that he wasn't senile and just his old self. Please, you have to believe me. You know that I wouldn't.
All that tells me is that you weren't going to try anything because you know that you wouldn't be able to get away with it. But we both know that it had been years and years and years since you had last visited Dad. Then all of a sudden you show up at his door because you think he's getting a little too old? It was so obvious what you were trying to do. Did you really think you were fooling anyone at all? It's not like Dad was even pretending to be senile from the start. But you just assumed that was what was happening when he would forget something now and then. So knowing that you were planning something and that you had leapt to the conclusion that he was going senile, the plan basically just fell into place.
But, I mean, so he really was just acting? He was never ever going senile at all? Are you serious?
That's right. He was only acting in a way that he thought would serve to fool you further. He knew that you were not the kind of person who would ever return to live with their parents in their old age.
But I mean, he didn't have to do that. That's so mean. It's not fair. We're family. We're supposed to be able to trust each other. How could he do that to me? I'm his daughter. How could he treat me this way? He's horrible. This isn't fair at all.
You expect him to be honest with you when you were literally trying to rob him blind? That's really rich, do you know that? You literally left him behind the moment you thought you had gotten what you wanted out of him. Anyways, I would quit wasting your time texting me and tell your husband to start packing up. In the end, the real estate agent that Dad was friends with did show up and tell Kayla and her husband that they had only a few more hours before they would have to leave. They were both in such a panic and begged for more time. But Dad was out of patience for their planning and told them to quit wasting their time and get back to packing. He was laughing all night about how he had fooled the two of them with his senile old man act. And with that, Kayla and her husband lost out on not only their new home, but Dad's inheritance as well. After that, Dad formally cut her out of his will and told her he never wanted to hear from her again. I have no idea what happened to Kayla and her husband after that, and frankly, I don't really care.